everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Tetra Travels. This video is another that falls into my Spinal Sessions series, where I interview people with various spinal cord injuries to discuss their life, what they're up to, and hopefully inspire people out there with new spinal injuries about what they can do with their lives, but also share awareness to the general public about what a spinal injury might entail, but also how people who have a spinal injury, that doesn't mean it's the end of their life. This week I have my second guest, Mark Worth. I knew Mark would be a fascinating interview, not only because of his positive outlook on life, but also because his spinal cord injury, despite occurring in a very similar way to mine, actually ended up having very different outcomes. Mark has the ability to walk, but it doesn't necessarily mean that life is easy. I hope you enjoy his interview and it teaches you something along the way. In this episode, which is part 3 of 4 of Mark's interview, we talk about mental health and the struggles that he's faced in his journey. I think this is a really important episode, and I would love for it to be shared widely because I think Mark's perspective on what happened to him is not only brutally honest, but is also incredibly helpful for men to hear out there. People who are struggling, people who think that life is really terrible. To hear it from someone I think is so positive is amazing. And yeah, please share it. Hopefully you'll tune in for the whole of the interview where I think there's some great things to learn. So you said that the first 3 or 4 months you just didn't really do much. I look at you now and I see you as somebody who is, in my opinion, very active. You do a full-time job, or at least I believe it's a full-time job. And yeah, you seem to always be out and about, talking to people, like out with the dogs, in nature. What changed after that 4 month period that got you there?
Time goes on and you then go out with family and stuff like that. And I was really lucky. So Bicton College, where I was meant to go, before the injury, they basically went, right, we're going to defer your entry to the following year because
Hmm.
we completely understand what's happened to you, and we're still happy for you to come and join us. So right, let's defer your entry till the following year and you can come to Bicton. That was it. I went to Bicton College and did a countryside recreational management course. As soon as you go to university, it is the life of, right, well, drink as much as you can, do as little work as you can, and that's the life. And that was kind of my way of not dealing with stuff. I just got on and just enjoyed the uni life. I think in a way it was kind of just like a release to just be thankful and just get on.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
And
think you almost took advantage of it more because you'd have been through what you went through?
yeah, in a way, if I hadn't had the injury, I would have got more involved in the sports that was there, and actually not taken the course a bit more serious, but probably worked a bit harder, is what I'd say. Whereas I just was there for the fun. I mean, I in a way, it's great because that year I met Sarah, and we've been together ever since. So that's 22, 21 years now. So I mean, that's where we met, and yeah, we've been together ever since. So literally, Sarah lived in the same block as me, and our friend sort of introduced us, and then it wasn't like for a couple of months that something got said, and that was it. We just got together, and yeah, haven't
Nice.
haven't really been apart since then.
That's nice to hear. Because yeah, one of my questions also around that is, did you find the dating process difficult after your injury? Feeling like my body isn't quite as
Um,
where it was.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, it was kind of difficult because you have those those thoughts in your mind of what's going on, what is life going to be like, how will I cope and stuff like that. Luckily, I've got now a wife that's so supportive of me that actually it didn't matter. I have similar interest in some stuff, so the dogs now, the countryside and stuff like that. So yeah, kind of lucky in a way.
but do you think it's lucky, or do you think it's an aspect of it is sort of the positivity that you've emitted?
There's kind of luck, but it's very much, and my mum will say it. No matter what, it was a miracle that I've come out of this whole thing being so such an incomplete tetraplegic, and how I've managed to regain so much functionality is
Yeah.
really good. So that that in a way is something to be really thankful for. But then it is that kind of positive, it is that positivity of, well, actually, shit happens. Let's get on with it. But I think at points in my life, it's hit me harder because it's kind of like, well, I've I've had I as a kid I had friends and stuff like that, but then through my adult life I've got acquaintances and stuff like that and
Yeah.
friends, but not like really close knit friends because I just grew up and they moved on, but I was still like that year behind, if you see what I mean.
So would you say you went through periods of like bad mental health and things like that, or was
Yeah.
it just lesser periods?
So I've been very open on this with the other members of the IPF and chatted about it. And in 2012, I pretty much hit rock bottom because I don't know what it was, just stuff got on top of me. I wasn't enjoying work, I wasn't enjoying life, and just general really having a bad time. It was
Mm.
horrible, and like considering that I'm like yourself, Max. I'll go to the rugby and enjoy the rugby and stuff like that as much as I can, and I'll do stuff like that. I had literally fallen out of love with rugby completely, and it just, yeah, it was horrible to think that I'd let myself get that low. Luckily, I just kind of got through it. I mean, so in that year, I'd written off my car. I was very stressed at that time with work and how stuff was going, and had an accident in one of the lanes of Devon and wrote off the car. So then I had like a 5 month period where I didn't actually have a car. So I was
Mm.
relying on other people to give me lifts to places, or had to ensure that I could go do this with someone else, and or borrow a car and stuff like that. And it just built more and more stress on me. And
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't until I like kind of realised something wasn't right because I just felt so low, and spoke to the doctor, and she just went, "Let's do this, let's do that." Luckily, work had an excellent program for mental health, so I got to
Mm.
see someone straight away and have some CBT training, which is brilliant. It is so helpful.
Mm.
And it's one of those things that just talking about stuff is amazing. That you could just talk about it. As soon as it gets out in the open, everyone kind of it puts you at ease, but also it
Yeah.
helps other people kind of understand what's happened.
That's such an important message, I think, for people to hear, like constantly. Even if we hear it a lot these days, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's such an important message that, like, even people, like, I look at, as I say, I look at you as someone who's very positive, upbeat about life usually, but like to then have that person say to you, "Yeah, I've been through these periods," and like, yeah, talk about it. I think it's just massive.
I genuinely think having those chats and just being open and honest with people and not being judgmental is the best way forwards. And just being thankful
Yeah,
that you've got people that are like that are willing to just listen to you and go, okay, I get it. I get where you've been. I've been there myself. It's horrible, but there are different places.
that'll be the end of part three. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that interview about mental health. I think it's a fantastic topic, and it was fascinating to hear it from someone I've always thought of as so positive. Hopefully you'll like, share, and subscribe this video to come back for more content. And yeah, look out for the last part, which is loading up on Thursday. That'll be it for this week. See you soon.